Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Cary Yurkiw here. I'm the chiropractor at Tutt Street Family Chiropractic. Today, we're talking about letting them heal, raising healthy kids by trusting the body and cutting through the confusion. And I find a lot of parents when they bring children into the clinic, they're concerned. They're concerned about their health and if they've been injured or if they've been sick lately. They're not sure what to make of it, and it's very stressful for them. And I know the feeling because I was a parent and still am a parent, for the last 23, 24 years. And I know what that feels like when you have a child that's not feeling well. Or as a practitioner, seeing parents bring their children into the clinic. I have 30 years of chiropractic experience and took 2 years of pediatrics through the International Chiropractic Pediatric Association down in Miami, Florida. And we talked about a lot of kids' issues. I've seen a lot of children over the years, and I'm going to share some of those insights with you today. So, two parents, years apart, the same lesson. And I think about my own parents and their health and how my father had health issues and got certain recommendations for his health, especially surrounding his heart. Some of those recommendations were good, some weren't very good. My mother, same thing with pancreatic cancer. Some of the advice she got was good, and some testing was missed. And so I look at that situation, and it's personal. It's kind of recent for me, and I want to focus on educating you today about family health, in particular surrounding your own children. So I've been in practice for 30 years, currently practicing right here in Kelowna. 2 years of postgraduate study, like I mentioned, in pediatrics and obstetrics. I've seen hundreds of children over my career, both in my own clinic and doing locums or relief work for other chiropractors. And I like to tell parents the truth. I like to be encouraging to them. I like to be positive, but also make sure that the advice I'm giving and the concern is realistic. Parents are drowning in conflicting advice. So a lot of parents get advice like, about, let's say, mothers with babies. Am I feeding the child the wrong thing? They're concerned that maybe they're not giving them the right nutrition. Should the parents be doing more to help their children? Then they read things online and there's contradictions online. So should I believe this influencer or that influencer, this feed or that feed? I just scroll through, my own news feed, and I can see all sorts of health care advice that's sometimes conflicting. I'm the parent, so parents often feel a lot of responsibility, but they don't feel sure about it, especially if they haven't had a child before, it's the first one, or they haven't had a lot of responsibility. So more tips won't fix this, but a clear idea will. So the tips and tricks crowd chases symptoms one at a time. A new rule for every new worry, treats the body as fragile and faulty, and leaves you anxious and second guessing. Whereas the philosophy first approach, one idea underneath everything, remove the interference, support the body, treat the body as capable and self-healing, and leaves you calm, clear, and confident. One of the concepts that we talk about here in the clinic is the body heals itself. And sometimes parents are confused by this. What does that mean if the body heals itself? And for us, we mean, is there something interfering with the body's natural ability to heal? Sometimes we call that innate. So let's say you get a cut or a bruise, your body knows how to heal. You just have to clean the wound. You just have to put some ice on it, let's say, and that'll help the body to heal. And that's where I think chiropractic comes in, because more so focused on the spine. If there's misalignments in the spine, it's going to affect the nerve flow, the muscle tone, the physiology, the way the body works in the area. And that's important that we remove that interference, that adjust that vertebrae to realign it, allow the nerve flow to get through, allow the muscle tone to go back to the way it was before. So we want to reset the body, kind of like a breaker panel in a home Similar concept, just turn the breakers back on. It doesn't mean it's anti-medicine. I've seen parents that are against, chiropractic and medicine and other forms of care. They just want to kind of treat their children at home. There is a place for chiropractic and medicine and other forms of care, urgent care, emergency care, and it's important to know when to take your child for those types of care. This doesn't mean skipping a doctor. So basically, it is good to get advice and consultations. So going and getting imaging done or getting checked or tested, really good thing to do, good information. And then based on that information, you can choose the best care for your children and your family. And this isn't being passive. So trusting the body's active, it means doing the supportive things and consistently. So we talked about that scraped knee that kind of heals over, a sprain that settles and heals, tired, strained body. So all of that's very important. So modeling this at home and how to build health in your family and with your children, I would focus on teaching them about food. So real food most of the time. So you want to talk about building the body up with protein, how the body needs fats to make hormones and cell membranes, how it needs carbohydrates for fuel, and then how it needs fiber for the intestine, for gut motility and absorbing waste products in the intestine. So everything has its place, proper hydration, even electrolytes. So all of that really important for teaching children. And if you're not sure what to teach them, we have an accompanying booklet that goes with this webinar. It's on Amazon, and you can scan that QR code in the bottom corner, go over to Amazon and get that booklet. It's an ebook, paperback, and audiobook. But you can also join our mastermind group after this webinar for 4 consecutive weeks. And I'll tell you more about that at the end of the webinar. Movement's important. So just play. Kids want to play. And I think even as adults, we want to go out and play. And it doesn't have to be just that one sport. I find a lot of parents focusing in on one sport, pushing their children to do well, performance-based. I think that can kind of take the fun out of it. And so it's important that kids get that room to play. And that doesn't necessarily mean playing video games, It means like going outside and going to recreational places like a community center or at school and just getting time to play. Sleep's important, protecting sleep, getting rid of phones or screens before bedtime, half an hour before bed, really important. Quality sleep. If you're not getting it, taking a nap during the day does help because sleep is cumulative. And then having a calm environment at home, not a stressful one, not a erratic one. A home that is calm reliably returns safety to the children. Safety is good because it's kind of like your soft place to fall. You've heard that saying, and that should be somewhere where you can relax and allow your parasympathetic nervous system to work, which is the calming system in the body, allows the body to grow, settle down. The sympathetic system is the fight or flight. That's the opposite. And you need that too when the situation warrants that, but it shouldn't be on all the time. So trust the body and then use the doctor. They've never been opposing terms. They have the same skill. So support at home for the everyday knocks, aches, sprains, and scrapes, rest, movement, comfort, time, and steady presence. Given decent conditions, a young body is built to bounce back and rebuild itself. But then get help without hesitation. So a hard fall, a head knock, a serious injury, severe or worsening pain, swelling, or limping that won't settle, anything you simply can't put weight on, and your gut's saying something's really wrong, listen to that intuition and then do something about that. So here's a good example of a 9-year-old that thought he'd be off the field for months. His parents came in bracing for the worst. sure that it was a season-ending injury. Nothing was broken, but he was definitely guarding his joint. And then what happened was he couldn't move. He was compensating for that. So we supported the body. We did gentle care to restore motion to that joint. We advised on rest and a gradual return to physical activity. And we gave it some time for the healing process to take place, and also some stretches and exercises to do to get that flexibility, mobility back in the joint as it was realigned, and the adjustments increased the range of motion. And then he was able to return back to playing sports again. So he was moving freely, playing again. It was just a distant memory after time, although at the time it was feeling like the worst, just wanting to get back to playing the sport. But we needed to go through the right steps and to give it the right amount of time to heal. So 3 things you can start this week at home. You don't have to do an overhaul. One in each of these areas will matter. So 1 nutrition shift. Pick a single upgrade, a real breakfast with protein or water over juice, and hold it. 1 movement habit, 1 joyful, repeatable dose, maybe a walk after dinner, ideally as a family, and 1 sleep boundary, a steady bedtime, screens out of the bedroom, treat it as non-negotiable. And try that for 30 days. That can make a big difference for you. So, one mom came in and she said she stopped being afraid of her own child's body. A first-time mom, spinning at every scrape and stumble. A few changes later, she could tell the difference between this needs a doctor and this is my kid being a kid. So she was able to differentiate that. And she's now empowered to care for her family properly, for her children. And she feels like she's more in charge of and more proactive of the situation. So if you're interested in learning more, definitely scan that QR code and you can come to our clinic. Again, we have that mastermind group coming up right after this webinar for 4 consecutive weeks. You can join us for that. There's some one-on-one coaching. You can do that here in the clinic if you're in Kelowna, or we can do that using Google Meet. We have video conferencing if you're outside of the Kelowna area. And then you can get that booklet on Amazon called Let Them Heal. It's now an ebook and paperback. The audiobook will be ready in a couple weeks from now. So thank you for joining me today for this webinar. I hope you learned something, and we'll talk to you soon.